Well, hello everyone. Let's take a look at our Chapter 2 homework demonstration problem. So for this particular problem, we're going to take a look at how to prepare the financial statements. We'll begin with the income statement, followed by the statement of changes in stockholders' equity. We prepare the balance sheet, and last we prepare the statement of cash flow. So you ready? So let's go. So here we have the transactions that took place during year one of operations. You want to ask yourself which of these accounts will appear on the income statement. So let me ask you a question. What type of accounts appear on the income statement? If you said revenue and expense accounts, you are correct. So now you must identify which of these transactions impact a revenue account and which ones impact an expense account. Number one, receive $13,500 cash from the issuance of common stock. The accounts involved will be cash and common stock, neither of which are a revenue account or expense. So go to number two. Two says perform services on account for 45,000. So this transaction will impact account receivable and it's going to impact a revenue account. So on our income statement, we have our heading. That's the who, what, and the when, the name of the company, the type of statement, and the time period being covered. Our first category on the income statement is going to be our revenue accounts. So I'm going to click on revenue, and the amount of revenue earned from this first transaction is $45,000. Okay, so let's see what account can I type it in. Look like it's here. 45,000 for the revenue. So now we look at our expense transactions. So let's see which transactions identify expenses. And I'm going to give you a hint. Most of your expense transactions will have the word expense in them. Aha! Like number three, pay the utility expense of $1,050. Now, I'm going to take that statement back because sometimes the expenses may not have the word expense. I'm looking at number five, recorded 6,100 of accrued salaries at the end of the year. That would be your salary expense. So there are going to be two different expense accounts listed. So on your expenses, you should have utility expense. That's fine, utility expense. There it is. And that amount was $1,050. And next we have accrued salary, which is going to be salary expense. So find your salary expense account. And that amount was 6,100. That gave us total expenses of $7,150. And you're going to subtract the expenses from the revenue. If this number is positive, which it is, that means, oh, there's another coming up. What's going on here? Let me scroll down so I can see what's going on. Oh, there it is. It means that we've earned net income in amount of $37,850. But it seems like, okay, this required number one. Let's just check our work to make sure we are doing okay for our first requirement. Okay, so it's not complete because we only did requirement one. We can now move on to requirement number two, which would be the statement of changes in stockholders' equity. So our head is already there. This is our first year. Therefore, beginning common stock is going to be 0. I don't know why it's not letting me type in these boxes. So now I'm wondering if for some reason, let me go back and see. If you can't go from one to the other, which you should be able to, everything here is done. Everything here should be complete. Okay, so go requirement number 2. So our beginning common stock, again, is going to be 0 because it's our first year of operations. Do I need to hit submit? Oh, return a question. That might help. Sorry. Go back to the question. That would help if I go back to the question. So now, let's try this again. So beginning common stock was 0. All right, now let me work. Then let's see, did we issue more common stock? Yes, we did. Received 13.5 cash issue common stock. That was number 1. So let's see what our choices are here. Plus common stock issued, 13,500. My computer's acting crazy today. That's okay, we're gonna still go. 13,500. I'm trying to do numbers only. 13.5. So ending common stock would be 13,500. Beginning retained earnings is going to be 0 because again, this is our first year of operations. We're going to add to that our net income from the income statement, and the net income amount was 37,850 was our net income amount. Let's put in that income for the 37,850. And let's see if we paid out any dividends. Yes, we did. Number 6, paid a cash dividend of $12.50. So now I'm going to subtract out, and this shouldn't say less net income. So let me change that. It's going to be plus net income, not less. But it will be less dividends, and those dividends total $12.50. I'll put that as a negative number. So my ending retained earned 36,600. Add that to my ending common stock to get total equity, $50,100. Let's check our work. Whoop, whoop. We're good. All right, but this time I'll return to the question. Learn my lesson. Requirement 3 would be the balance sheet. All right. So beginning with your assets, let's see. Received cash. I need my calculator, but I need your help too. So I received cash of 13,500. So it's plus 13.5 to my cash account. So let me get out my calculator here. 13.5, all right. Perform services on account. That doesn't impact my cash account. But then I pay utility expense of 1,050. So subtract 1,050 from your 13.5. Collected 36,260 in cash. So add 36,260. Recorded accrued expenses for the year. That doesn't impact your cash account. But then you pay the cash dividend, so minus 1250. So according to my calculations, my cash ending balance should equal $47,460. Okay? My next asset based upon these transactions will be account receivable because I performed service on account. So account receivable was 45,000, but we collected 36,260. So 45,000 minus 36,260. My account receivable ending balance should be $8,740. So account receivable, that amount will be $8,740 for account receivable. Let's see if we have any other assets here. So that was common stock, not an asset. Account receivable, that's an expense. Accounting for that, accrued salaries. So that should be it for my assets of 56,200. Let's see if we have any liabilities. Yes, we do. For liabilities, we have the accrued salaries for 6,100. So under my liability section, I'm going to look for salaries payable. Let's scroll down, see all the accounts. Looking for my salaries payable. There it is. And again, that amount was 6,100. And that was my only liability account, I believe. That's it for my liabilities. Yeah. And then under my stockholders' equity, you're going to have common stock. Your common stock, we see, was 13,500. And then my ending retained earnings, come on, ending retained earnings from the previous transaction, that amount was ending retained earnings total 36,600. So 36,600 my ending retained earnings. So my total equity would be 50,100, and my balance sheet must balance. My assets must equal liability plus equity. They both total 56,200. So that is correct. I'll go do a quick check my work just to make sure. And we're good. And one last statement would be the statement of cash flow. So in our statement of cash flow, we're going to show the cash from operating activities. We're going to have the cash received from customers. That amount was 36,260. Let's see, do we have any outflows from operating? Nope, not there. Yeah, we pay utility expense of $1,050. So you will have an outflow for paying the utility expense. Cash pay for expenses, that was $1,260. And that should be it for our operating activities. There aren't any investing activities. Nope. So under my financing activity, I do see the issuance of common stock, issue of stock, and that amount was $13,500 in cash. We're almost done. And we paid out dividends. So we paid out dividends, paid dividends, and the dividends paid totaled $1,250. All right. So our net change in cash was $47,250. Our beginning cash balance. So we'll add plus beginning cash balance, which was $0. And that'll give us an ending cash balance of $47,250. We can check that against the, and see, I'm glad I checked, because $47,460 here, unless I did something wrong, $47,460. And this is showing, get my calculator, $47,460. And this is showing minus $47,250. So I'm missing $210. Where's the $210 coming from? Pay utility expense. Oh, utility expense should be $1,050. So that was my error. Put the wrong amount in. Well, there you go. Now $47,460 is the correct amount. All right, there you have it. So now we have completed all of question 2 for your homework. You're welcome. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.